Take it, it works. What? What? Well, hello. Welcome. Probably should adjust it a little bit here. That'll work. So, hello. Welcome to another stream. We're working on more stuff. How many people we got right now? Not that many. So yeah, reminder that the if there's any people that have any questions or want any assistance with something they're working on, or want to see other stuff I've done in more detail, just let me know, and I will do that. Right now, I can't remember what we were doing. I think we're still in this one. Yeah, we're still in this one. Trying to buff it up or make it feel better. It's my time. So that's what it is. Okay. So yeah, we're still trying to figure this one out. I still want to get him figured out for his armor because he's just looking kind of sad. I thought I had some issues getting his armor to work right though. For one, I was having an issue making it look like where his damn body begins. Let's try changing it to gold though. I'm kind of curious. Oh dear God. There's a lot of textures on this. Oh, okay, that's all stuff that's not needed. It's only the armor, so it's gonna be this stuff. And I'm guessing we're using green. What do you mean by speed it up? Like speed up the entire video, or to speed up like a specific model? Because technically there's two different ways to do both. If it's by model, it's I'm trying to see what you mean by that. If we're speeding up camera movement, I mean, because like you could take a whole scene and make it faster, but that's generally I don't think needed very much. Because I could just like, if I wanted to, find a shot that's not super intensive here. Because like I could just, you can actually grab like say this shot, and I could go in here, set time scale, and be like, I think that might be the wrong way. No, that is. And then it actually runs 3 times faster now. Same amount of space, so it just kind of stops moving. But I just don't think that's normally. You can actually see it here. It says offset. It's not very good, or not offset scale, but it's not a good way to do things. But I mean, otherwise, for actual like changing of speed of stuff, yeah, literally, if you hold shift and you select something in the motion editor like this, if you hold alt, you can and drag any of these, you'll actually shrink it down, and then if you do that, you get where they're now moving a lot faster. So, but that only does it per model. You can grab everything like this and just speed it up if you want, but actually, I've got a lot of extra motion in here. extra motion for? Because my file size is kind of getting outrageous. I'm trying to think of ways to reduce it. Actually, I'm going to do that, but not with Ember's hair. That actually can come in handy. Something is... the wood? What the hell is the wood? Oh, it's the windy things. Okay. That makes sense. Ah, here we go, wind cloth. Okay. Just trying to get rid of a little bit of it. That could have saved me like half a megabyte right there. But in terms of like the actual speed too, you can do it like this. You can drag it, but if you do this, it's going to change. If you grab this one, it's going to change everything before it and after. If you actually do it with fall offs, or do this with fall offs, it will only affect the area within, which does come in handy. So sometimes if I'm readjusting, say like this, and I need to make something from here go, or have this for, I can't even think of an example right now to do, but say that right now I want everything here to go faster and this to slow down. I can actually grab it like this, and just drag it like this, and it will actually speed up this part and slow down this part. The only problem with that is it's not really a smooth transition. You're just taking one single point and moving it. So if you move it too much, like if I move it like this, you could probably notice it a little faster and a little slower. But if you were to go like this, you're going to have really, really fast and immediately cut off to slow, because it's not really going to drift like that. And I don't think there's really a way to try to give it a fall off with that. But it has its uses, being able to do stuff like that. There's another question here. Yeah, in terms, I forgot that. So yeah, here if you go to edit clip, if you do clip name, that's this top port, and then the clip text is the body here. And if you, I believe, yeah, if you hold control when hovering over one of the clip here, you can actually expand it. So if your text takes up more space, like mine does, you can expand it a little bit, so that this seems really cool. But you can expand it a little bit so that it gives a little bit more room for whatever you want to write. Or if you don't really care about that and you want to shrink it down, you can do that too. The color's the same way. You just play with the colors if you want to color. I might use color coding for figuring out what I have left to do, because now I can look through here and immediately ignore the green and say it's done. So I only have to look at the rest of it to figure out what I have left to do. The other thing too with clip text is if you're at the very beginning of a shot, the first frame, it will actually pop up with the text on the screen. It does not show up in render, but it means that if there is a lot of text here, like say with this one, you can read it by going to that shot and doing it. So, yeah. I don't think there's really anything else in terms of text for that. Nope. Okay. Oh yeah, we're doing armor. So this headpiece had originally looked like this. Had these green bits like that. But I wanted gold, so that's why I have it like this. It mixed with the light like that. So I want to do that with the rest of the armor. The problem is, I did it so long ago, I can't remember how I did it. So, oh, good, you can't see his legs there. So, okay. So we need to make that not green. Gloves, okay, that's separate. And those are boots, those are separate. So we need to grab just the armor, which is going to be... Curious is going to... I don't know how you say that. We'll do that. Mail. That's where I am right now. Glass. I don't need that one. So it's glass. Because I think I want this one. Let me double check. Yes. Oh, they're actually both parts. I don't need both. Okay. Okay, what does this lead to? This leads to... Skyrim. There we go. Okay, so this is how I did that. So at least I saved the... Oh, stupid. I haven't actually seen the newest episode yet. There it is. Okay, so this did... I did save this because I knew that I was going to do this later. Can I copy this? Ha! That's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Trouble with this though, I think was I'm just gonna stay here for a while. It's still a little bit green. So we need to play with that a bit. No, there we go. I was like, wait a second, I'm not looking at the right stuff here. Okay, so these ones. Okay, I think... Oh, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna keep it about there. I'm gonna do the green. Actually, that's not even doing it. This is still gonna be the best one. I think what I need to do is cut this compass a bit more. You know, the green possibly. Nope. There we go. And I don't mind having a little bit of green in there. That's not a problem. Like that. So replace, that's fine. What's the other one? What is the blue? The same? Oh, it probably loads the same texture, it just loads it up differently for different, like, VMT settings. Okay, we'll just keep that. this is going to be glass. So I never understood how you say it. Is that keras? I'm not sure. I always just assumed it. I say it in my head one way, but I can never probably say it that way. It looks like curious. Well, I think the plugin thing is kind of old, so it doesn't really nope. There we go. Okay, so that changed that to gold. I think VTF's edit's super useful. No matter what you're doing. The fact that it can this works. Yes. The fact that it can what do you want to say? Actually, I have an idea with that too. Convert stuff into a bump map. That's actually what I've considered to be probably the most useful thing. Queer ass? Okay, yeah, I bet it is. Okay. That did work, but it is creating a sheen of green that's kind of reflecting on it, which is understood. It is probably being done in this. Fine tint, no. Environment tint, going into the slate blue. Yeah, I don't want that. I'm gonna probably want to go the other direction. We're gonna say let's go into 3. But this is actually, this is probably not even using this one. It's probably using the Khajiit one. Yeah, let's try this. So I'm just adding a little bit of red instead. But this is probably the one that's going to matter. Yes, this is very much focused, because this is red, green, blue. So it's very most focused on the green and blue and less on the red. So we're going to just even this out and probably just drop these down a little bit. And tint, again, is the same thing. Higher in the green. We don't want that. One of these should be at least 1. Let's see. Let's see, this is 1.0. Because what this is doing right now is, it's hard to see, but like on the armor right here, I wish I could go around that shoulder. Oh, there we go. Okay. Right clavicle. No, left clavicle as well. There we go. So you can actually see that on the edges here and here, there's a little bit of green hint. It's actually has it set up where it has a little bit of a green sheen. You can see it down here. I don't want that. I don't want green. Oh, you can really see from that angle. Yeah, that's a green. That's not what the color I want. I want it like this. It's perfect music for this pose. Oops. Whoa. Oh, hello. Okay. I gotta reload everything because I don't know how to load that otherwise. So now this should get rid of that coloration. If anything, I should probably grab. What did I modify it in here to be? Did I modify it at all? Oh no, it wasn't this one. It was the. Would have been this one. No. I might have done it in overrides. Yeah, I did. So we're looking at 0.8, 1, 0.3 is what I chose for it. Okay, so now you can see that it's now no longer glowing. That yeah, green. It's now actually it's brown. Oh, brown. Yeah, I don't want brown. It kind of has a cool like chameleon feel to it though when I turn. But yeah, I don't want that. So I kind of like it the way that this is set up, where I think the helmet has it where it's all gold, but some of the reflection is set to be really gold and some isn't. So, and that's probably, no, it's just this one. That's the modified. So I only modified the tint on the one and I kept the tint on the other the same. So I'm going to keep that. So we're going to go back to this. This one I'm going to keep as it was. That's fine, whatever. And that's the helmet. Helmet blue. So I'm gonna do like this one. 0.8, 1.3. Oh, so I just swapped the numbers. Well, you know what? I probably shouldn't change that. I should probably do like I was doing in the other one. So I'm gonna keep all these the same. I'm just gonna copy these values. I'm gonna go to our armor. I'm gonna make sure that these are the same too. Yeah. There we go. Just had a brain fart there. We want blue. There. Now you can actually see it has that nice glow, golden sheen. But if I were to do the same thing to this part in here, I could add this. And it would be gold too. But the reason I don't like that very much is that it seems overly consistent in its coloration then. Like everything acts the same. I almost like it better like this, where it seems like it has gold highlights. So from this angle it's still all gold, but as it turns, yeah, we'll keep it with that. Still don't really like that the armor, mainly in the butt, but I really don't know how else to do it. And even same with the ears, like armor is definitely not built to have ears, but I'm just like not caring enough. Yeah, and this is supposed to be really, really old. So I'm assuming, like, I think at this point they've been warring for 200 years. So I think it's 200. Sounds right, anyway. So that means that this is probably it would make sense that it's kind of bronzed a little bit, but it still it would have that sheen, and that's what I like right there. The boots are another story. I don't know how those are, because there's that green stuff right at the front there, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. If anything, I might modify it to get rid of it. Because while the boots work, I need to make sure that the detail of them works too. Come on. Stupid autosave. So this is going to be, what part is that? So I thought one texture, Nordic male. And this is a different texture setup than the other, I'm guessing. I bet you I can redirect to the females though. Did work, but it's way too bright. I remember them being that bright. Oh, it's probably hitting the in-between of the textures, so yeah, that probably wouldn't work. Anyways, I don't think I actually did that. I think it was the bump maps I modified. I bet you that I can just redirect to. I don't like this. It's kind of bumped, not scratched. Go with that for now. For the front, I need to make that gold. So I want to kind of finalize his lighting a little bit, but I can't do it until I know what he's going to look like. Okay. Could I steal any of the stuff from this to put on here? So this part right here is the booty. There we go. On that. And then this is there. Thinking that's this. No, that's not that part. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. And then the rings going around would be some of these. So I'm thinking that all this. Oh, and then these ones too, which are going to be. Is it crisscross? Coming down. Okay, well, I just have to do them all. I wouldn't be able to do it as detailed as this is, though. Kind of, actually. It's low, so it's not, the detail's not going to matter too much. Is there any part of this that I can copy paste? Kind of. It's too textured all over. I can make something work. How big is this texture? don't think that copied right. Oh, I copied saturation. Dirt. Okay, that is tiny. It doesn't seem right. Why is that so small? I don't need you open anymore. This is, oh, that's 100%. Oh, it is just low quality, I guess. So let's see if I can get away with merging some of these. I should be duplicating this. I just want it for the maintenance of the same texture. I'm not good at this stuff otherwise, so they kind of look like chicken legs. One more, and then I can copy a large portion. I'm just trying to make it like kind of squarish. I should not merge those. I should just grab this one. Clean up some of those edges a little bit. You're not showing me which is which. It's not the one I want. There's that. Nope. Try the first one. Nope. Last one? Yes. And then this one. Actually, that was... There we go. I'm going to run into one other issue with this, which is going to be the bump maps are not going to match up, but I don't really care. The legs are, again, a very minor portion of the area. Yeah, this is how I usually do it. After a short period of time, you kind of start getting stuff to multiply fast. Even this, you can start seeing some of the repeated patterns, but again, don't care. Don't want to go into that, so I'm just going to go to here, and we'll take this one. Oops. Not that one. This one. Stop grabbing that one. There. put this over here. So funny, you can see where it separates until you stop moving, then it just kind of ball blends together. I'll just put it there. And then this one. Just in case. Sure. This looks kind of green though. I'm gonna fix that. Still think it's a little too green. Might want to dumb down the saturation a bit too. That's good enough. I don't care about details. Just waiting for it to look like shit, but don't know until you try. I hope they don't make Starlight from her an alicorn, or it's just going to be the, it's going to start showing a trend. Okay, yeah, I do agree. If you can say my name in full, because if you do, you get that. And that makes it easier to see. I can see out of the corner of my eye, which helps a lot. So, if you don't, I can't guarantee I'll see it. So, otherwise, yeah, there's a question. What is my next YouTube video? Why is this taking so long? Oh yeah, I forgot. This texture is stupid. Now I closed it. God damn it. Okay, so it does go through. Good to know. No, the next YouTube video I probably will make will be this one. Well, kind of. I'll have tutorial out soon. I've been slowly editing it, but, I just haven't finished it yet. I could have it done in an hour. I've just been lazy. But, no, it'll probably be this one and whatever I have for Anthology done at the time. Which I have, like, an hour of work to do to finish one for that, too. Getting there. Come on, SFM. There we go. It actually kind of works. It's just too bright. too bright and I feel like it's kind of missing some of the cool factor the other one has. But I have a feeling that I close that folder. That unless I go and like do some severe advanced stuff, I'm not gonna get anything like that. So screw it. I'm just gonna dumb it down and make it look kind of like it works. So this part 2, I'm gonna give a gold hue to. Or at least brighten it a bit, because I feel like that's actually does kind of match with this. Maybe if I just give it a little bit of a little bit more of a brownish hue. Does this work? Yeah, it does. Let's see if that works. Yeah, Crystal you can say was on the loose on like since season 2, so and they didn't have her pop back up for a while. So I wouldn't say that she's going to or should pop up again this season. Go on, media edit. That actually loaded it or not. Doesn't seem any darker, so I want to check. But when the light's hitting it strong like that, what do you expect? I locked up. There's a lot of textures to reload whenever I do that. That's why I try to do it per, if I can. Yeah, it's taking a bit too long. Come on. Where's that message of not responding? There we go. Oh. This is one patient up. There we go. That it didn't reload before. Might be too brown now. That's a good color. At least that's better hidden. And even so, like, for how this camera comes in, there's gonna be like a bunch of motion blur up through here. You're not even gonna be able to see the part of his body that that these legs are attached to. So I don't even know if I'm gonna give a shit. I don't think I will. To me, it's like when it's moving in here, if anything, it makes it look gold enough. If anything, I kind of wish everything else was that brown. I think it has a better hue. That green actually has a nice contrast, but no, I can't do that. Good enough. Because even from here, when it's originally visible, I think the focus is still up here. Yeah, focus isn't even on him yet. No, because like, does it look good for what if I were to like be looking at him a lot? No, it kind of looks like shit. But for what I'm using it for, it actually works perfectly fine. Because this is the only bit where I have to have him in armor. So, but even then, I really wish it didn't look like it does. But what do you do? I want to see if I can either shrink down the parts by the legs to get rid of them. I want to get rid of... Oh! Actually, I might be able to do this even better. Going through, you can't see it. It gets rid of the green bits. Alright, perfect. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to alpha them out. They separated it, so I might as well take advantage of it. Quicker that way. There. Voila. Gold armored pony. I feel like he needs a little bit more motion, because right now I think his body just shifts a teeny bit, but other than that... Do you see his arm here? He has swords, but actually I need to give him a sword, some kind of iconic one. I just have to figure out which one he has here. I'm guessing this is going to be called Falling or something. No. Probably going to be just before that. Cause I know it's after that. No. What is the... I don't think it's here. That's probably gonna be the best way to find it. Because I need to figure out what... Because there's a part, and actually this is the part I need to animate later of Sam Rose falling from the sky, but because he has a sword and kills things, a lot of things. It's not Sam. It was where he dropped his armor, and I thought it was a distraction so that she could get in there. So I thought it was just before that. Maybe light. Because it would have had his name in there. That's why I'm searching for that. I'm thinking maybe Elven, but not really, because it's supposed to be a giant sword, and that's what I need to try to make sure of, is what the size is. And I'm trying to remember exactly where it happens. I think it might actually be after... running into Axon, because I thought she leaves first. Maybe? Oh, wait. Oh, okay, yep, I think I found it. Alright, it's right after this. Because he has to be carried and armor's too heavy. That's why he drops it. Okay, so... pick your favorite one and toss your armor, and I swear I'll leave you angrily. I don't look. Okay, this is what it says. He dug his muzzle and pulled out a large bastard sword. Okay, so a bastard sword, we're thinking like Final Fantasy type thing, I'm guessing. I'm guessing I actually think I have the cloud weapon in here too. I just don't know if I want to use something that's iconic like that. It's a weird thing to be searching in SFM. I'm gonna look up bastard, because I think that's the only thing I can think of when I think of bastard sword. Is the oh, actually, is that what they consider a bastard sword? Well, that's really cool. Let's see if they have it on here, because I want to make sure I get this right. It's a type of sword with a long or long sword. So it's hand and a half sword. Okay, so it's not a absolutely enormous one. It's one that's generally looked at as being a two-handed sword. Okay, so it's going to be a larger than normal sword. So yeah, I do have his. The Buster Sword, that's what his was called. But even that, I consider that it to be a, for sure, two-handed weapon. But other than that, they really don't say. It's a pretty general thing, so it means I do have a little bit of flexibility with it. But this is medieval, so I'm looking for something that's going to be probably more along the lines of medieval. So a lot of these are like, ooh, what is this? No, that's probably going to be still too. Sword of the Drake, I'm guessing that's going to be. It's a fitting name, but. Yeah, that's definitely. That's not going to work. Yeah. Actually, the blade itself could work, but the rest of it isn't. Because he's supposed to have been like almost Attack on Titan-esque in terms of how he carried them originally. Is there downloads for swords? Ooh. Actually, that could work. Because it's actually super detailed. I might do that. Because it actually looks, oops. Can I go to the workshop from here? Nah, damn. I like that you can have the ruins on it too. Oh yeah, that is. It's almost too high detail, too high of a detail for a sword. It's like I don't know if you really need that much. But I'd rather have too much than not enough. Oh, that's why it has a lot, because it's got the thing for it too. So full body. I just want the sword. Okay. So you know that could actually work. That might still be a bit too big for him, though. Yeah, just a little. Because thinking mouth-wise, it's got to still hold it in his mouth. Because what I can do then is, my thought is if you're going to be having your sword lean against you, you're probably going to be putting weight your opposite direction a little bit. Good spot to lean it that looks like it actually works. Problem is, this ground is not as detailed, but I don't think it will matter. I don't mind it clipping a little bit. Ooh, that is super shiny. That's fine. I can turn down shiny. Trying to think if that even makes sense to have him doing that. Do that. He's still got the aspect of having his armor supposed to carry grapples of sorts with it, but I have a feeling that there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. But I just want to see if the lighting works for this now. It does. No, I don't think they had their civilization had anything like a magnetic anything for holding it. They do describe what it was that um, um, what it is kind of, but I'm not gonna go digging for that. This, at least knowing what kind he had, helps because I do need to have him in the future be using it like this. So I need to make sure it was a sword that would work by mouth grip, and had enough stretch that I wasn't going to have to worry about getting close to things to do damage. But this I don't need to. Okay, I still feel like I need to modify his pose a bit, because he's just standing stoically. So let's not have his armor. Actually, I'm not even really worried about like body otherwise. So, for some reason we have a leg escaping. Finish this. So right calf has to go to his right leg 1. I'm gonna scale. Scale. There. Take, actually, turn this down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and just about zero them. But if I zero them completely, I lose control of the bone. And I want to be able to modify. Oh, I guess it's actually going to matter. I guess it's on calf. Never mind. Just want to make sure that this is all kind of the same. Well, it's gonna matter. Oh, that was Darty poster. There's 3 Fong values when you want to play with. Oh, 4 kind of. There's Fong Exponent and Fong Boost. I believe they are. Yeah, Fong Exponent and Fong Boost. Those ones are the ones that are going to be like boost by increasing that you're going to increase the brightness. By exponent, I believe by decreasing it, you increase it to increase the brightness. Yeah, a lot of it is playing with those values to figure out what works. And then tint is the coloration. Fresnel range is your adjustment for where you want to put your light to your dark. So if you want to, if you put it towards the right, you'll get metallic. If you put it towards the left, you get a matte. And then just turning Feng on. Those are the main ones. So really just take the pony values, because the actual ponies like this one have Feng boost, Feng stuff. They have all that stuff already built in. Just take the values that are there, just copy paste them, and then play with them. But beyond that, there's you'll notice on these, actually it doesn't have it, maybe not. No, here, normal alpha map. Like a lot of these use like the alpha layer of the texture. I don't have that open anymore. They like the alpha layer of the texture that will oh yes, I can do this. I didn't want to have to go and open it all the way up. Just want to open one of these. I'm guessing there's going to be an alpha layer. Yeah. So that you can utilize the alpha layer to provide extra details too, and use them not as an alpha layer but as other things. So it's how to do all that stuff, I have no idea, so don't ask me. I just know how to do edits and make something work, kind of. Just a little blue there, but I'm gonna keep it. What's that? Actually kind of cool from an angle. Sword. Alright, so we're gonna just move his butt. You fix the problem with the camera if it stops for 1 second and then moves afterwards. What do you mean by stops? Is it slow down? Like, 'cause I know sometimes you get it where if you have a lot of small or consistent smooth motion, it'll sometimes jerk a little bit. So I'm not sure what you mean by stops for 1 second. If it stops for 1 second, it probably is just, it needs to be moved. I mean, otherwise I don't know. Because, yeah, if you have a camera that, like, because, yeah, if you have a camera that's kind of, like, moving like this at a really slow pace, but you get it where it does this, where it like moves in segments. Um, a lot of that is due to like if you look at my main camera here, you'll see in the camera here I turned on sample points. So when the information is stored in the system or in the save files, it's not saving. And how do you save a line? It's not saving some formula for how that line is done. It's picking points and it's saving the distance or the A to B, and then by giving lots and lots of them. So all the little points between these dots is a straight line, but when you back it up and you look at it as a whole, it looks like a curve. So that's why if you do, like, if I were to grab this and hit smooth, it's trying to space out everything, even it out, and sometimes it'll add dots, remove dots, and that's actually what, if you that causes a large save file is having lots and lots of these dots. But sometimes when you have very, very, very small movements, it can't calculate a small enough dot between 2 points. But like between here and here, it might have such a small movement that it's hard, has difficulty comprehending it. So it's going to jump a little bit. It's going to be straight, and then jump. And there's really no way to try to fix that without adding crap loads of dots or whatever. The best way to fix that is to separate the motions so that you get a smooth rotation, but through 2 straight motions. So that's actually why, like here, I have camera assist. So the there is a model here that the camera is attached to that does the majority of the heavy motion. So like here you can see it comes in, and then when it starts flying away, that's what this Reddit is, and then its main rotation around him, and then I think yeah, and then it's done there. You can actually see if you pay attention to the circle here for it, you can see that it rotates, or it's not even rotating there. It is doing the rotation. It's kind of partial. So I'm separating some of the motions so that the camera can focus on some of the nuanced details. Because if I were to have this big motion and then I try to add in a little motion for the camera, it's going to get so drowned out amongst this other motion that it's going to be either start jerking or it's not going to show up at all. So by having it as a separate model, and locking it to that, I now have 3 bones, so I can actually have the majority of the main motion on one, and then I can start playing with the camera's one, which has 0 motion, and have it just play along that path, just adding little bits, and then you'll actually have less of those errors. I've noticed when I've started doing that, you have less of those problems, but you can no longer move the camera by grabbing it like this, because if I were to go and move and say grab the camera and then go and move over here, I'm still attached to that thing, so even though I'm like looking over here now, it's still going to throw me wherever that other model went. So it is downside if you lose your ability to fly with it, but whatever. Well, and right now there's going to be some jerkiness right now because it's I'm not caring about the actual details or like the fine-tuning parts of this right now. I'm just worrying about getting the main parts done because I don't want to have to redo it. Because even here, like how it catches into him here, I think it kind of is a little bit strong. But yeah. I've also done it where like I had like rotating. It was a model that was or the camera was rotating, but it was pulling out as it was doing it. So I had where I kept this is the central point, pulled this one out of the circle and rotated that, and then I had the camera inside do the fixing and correcting. So I actually used all 3 bones to do what I want. select the model so that I'm rotating around the right point. So I think I'm going to take this leg and I'm going to push this back a bit. If I were him, he'd be watching the skies. I'm thinking I should put his head higher. Kind of like the idea of his head going too far and then having to come back to correct it a bit. No, because it looks broken then. I'm going to have him lean a little bit that way too. It's kind of a dangerous time to do this motion, but let's see if it works. Say dangerous because it's a lot of. Why do I still set sample points on? It's a lot of changes. I do like it though. So just gotta make sure that the legs match up. So turning, these would be stretched out a little bit. Not really worried about that part. Okay. This would be going down a little bit. And turning a little bit. For the speed of things happening, I'm not going to be worried about it. I kind of want to have his head whip back quicker. Yep, so fanfic for Estreo. Or fanfic for the show, but technically it's called Estreo. Okay, the eyes are still locked, yes. So I can take all of his motion, except that of his face. Change it that much. Yes. And his eyes closed. I don't like the idea of it going so far off to the side, though. Too far down. His mouth should pucker more. Yeah. How would you make your OC burp? I already have an animation of a pony burping, technically. But it would take me a while to set it up on my OC because this utilizes the advanced flexes, and I don't have those on my OC. I think I might actually remove the flying in circle dragons, because it implies that they're directly overhead and they should probably be undercover then. I might have them flying in a direction instead. I should probably try to figure out this now too. Alright, so he stands out like a sore thumb. We need to get him to blend in. That's going to be by just taking some of the rubble stuff, making it smaller and shoving it around places. So let's get this organized. There's my file. So I can just take a bunch of this, throw it around in places, and therefore drastically increase the polygon count, at least nearby, which is the intent. Because as of right now, it just feels so plain around him, and he stands out with the excessive amount of detail on him. So I need to balance it out by providing extra rubble that's of a higher polygon count, so he doesn't stand out so much. He's already wearing gold. There's not really any way for me to make him stand out less. So I just need to get everything else to balance out. I can throw some other crap in with this. Right now I want to create a kind of base rubble that is like an underlying template, and then have anything else I want to throw on top go on top of it, so that I can ensure that the details that I want are there. So I don't really have to go any lower with that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go one more right here. I'm just trying to make sure, because to me these two spots right here can be easily spotted repeating, so I'm trying to hide them here and there too. So I should be able to hide them behind this rock. Yeah, I can hide one of them. That's all I need. There, see, now the details with the light hitting it make it so that he's fitting in a bit more with having these smaller pieces of rubble. Alright, so now I just got to do this to the other side of him. This is an interesting spot. That'll work. always going to be a crap load of debris everywhere. I'm finding a balance. Do that. I'll copy that one. Okay. These stones are probably going to be standing out. Not really. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to clear up this path on the edges, like right around here, because it just feels like it just comes to an abrupt end. Actually, this might work. Adding just a little bit of rubble to the edges, because I see it that if you had a bunch of crap get broken and whatever, that the junk would get pushed to the edges over years and years. So just gotta clean up a little bit there. Okay, how's that looking? Much better. I'd probably still have to throw more trash around them. Like nearby trash. But now it's looking more like everything belongs. It doesn't like all the trash bits. So like I can understand some of these bigger rocks. The bigger rocks are gonna fall to the top, while the little stuff is gonna fall to the bottom. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So I can that big flat top looks good. I mean, I don't need to change that, especially with how the lighting's hitting it. But some of these little bits, like in this little crack here, I can see that rocks would have filled this up. So we're gonna go and fill that with some rocks. I really like this rubble model. It's like this is my go-to so many times. I had a SFM video planned many years ago to this song. This was actually my original trailer song I was going to be doing. Not for this video, though. It's for a different one. My original favorite fic, but that is changed to this one. It has been for a very long time, so I don't see it changing anytime soon. Yeah, this is an amazing song. But it's also probably the most cliche trailer song, so that's why I kind of, when I decided to kind of pass on that and do like this instead, I'm not really crying about it. It's one of those things of say you found the song really good and would work really really well, so you start working on something, but then and you put all this time into it, but by then so many people have burned out on it from people using it for cheap quick videos that when yours finally does come out with all your effort put into it, people look at it as crap just because it uses the cliche song. You're like, but I started it before everybody else. Okay, so the camera is looking back here, so I need to get some rubble around this pole. Unsure if I'm gonna need any down here. I'm thinking maybe. Is your backlight visible? No. Then over on this side, there's going to be more needed along this bit. This path's looking good, but there's still going to be rubble needed up along this everything. Back of the pool too. Camera see. There's some of this edge right here. Oh, I guess I'm going to use the line here. I'm going to clean up some of this edge here with more trash. It's not floating. That's good. All I need is something to break up the flat lines of it. Just do one more. Where is that edge? We have to be a little careful on this one. Okay, some more along this pole here. Plus, resource-wise, this is, by copy-pasting, I'm not really building out that much resources in the background. It's fairly efficient to do it this way. Memory-wise, I'm only using it only has to load one model. If I get away with something. Let's try. Because I would think that the rubble here would kind of be drifting down. And the nice thing about like the way this model's set up is that I kind of get it to just partially clip and it still looks like it works. And that might actually come in handy for other parts too. Yeah, so I could actually just throw that around to random places just to create an uneven surface. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. It's getting over here now. But I can go pretty big with my detail on those. So I'm just going to find these little sharp edges like around here. And I'm just going to add in some rubble to break up the large pieces. Even if it's just like that. That's how this is looking. I really don't know if I'm going to need to add extra models for extra detail. I think it actually could kind of work just as it's been going. Just something to break up a little corner there. Oof, this is actually gonna be tough to get extra buildings over there. Which layer is that? That is the far. If I connect these two white lines, this is where the camera is going, in that direction. So I just want to make sure I get as much covered as I can, and really that should be good enough. There's a little hole down there, and that is viewable, so I need to fill that, which I can do with the close layer. Okay, city covered. Just make sure you're going slow. Fully covered. Okay, good. I never figured out what color hair he had, but it doesn't matter. I can figure that out later. How many bones does he have in his tail? One, two. Two. Yeah. Oh wait, no, three. Okay, so that one popped up after the triple. Oh, okay. 2, 3. Okay, so we need the wind is going in that direction, but I can't really have that working that way. It's kind of blowing that way. Okay, so I can have the tail go this way. Where's the tail at this point? So if I was here, okay, I can have it in the camera shot. Good. Can't remember what these tick marks are for, so I'm just going to use them myself. Tail 1, 2, 3. Station local. Okay, so we need it to go that way. And return this way. This is the peak. I'm gonna make it kind of breeze-ish. I'm not sure what word for that will be. And then we're going to cancel it a little bit. Okay, so when it hits this peak, let me get the full size. So this is when it's this. We're gonna have it pull a little this way, turn it a bit more. actually just going to keep it as it is. Looks better that way. I'm going to take this. I'm going to turn this a bit. In case I forgot to copy something, which happens all the time. Okay, and then also this end tail should actually be bending quite a bit here. Yeah, if you want to send it like I see you guys are talking, so that's fine. I realize the sword doesn't move at all during that. I probably should have it. Okay, so when it hits this point 2, I'm thinking tail 2 is probably going to need to be turned more this way. Yep, that feels better too. I still feel like this needs to be pulled more this way for this, but it doesn't look right. Okay, now the one I forgot about here. So at about this point, this is going to extend. Okay, and bone for that, so it's going to be like this. I'm going a bit further. Just like I had some of the other ones. I have problems where if I do it for just that thing, then I adjust the speed and whatever, and then I go and change, or I change it to such a degree that I need, or copy it to another frame or another thing, and then I'm screwed because I don't have anything left of it. So since I'm probably going to be using the same tail for a different part later, so I'm actually going to copy a bit more. That's going to have some faster paced versions, and so I want to have some parts that are still within their normal frame, which is in this case 1 second. And I want to have this set up so that right about this point the tail hits its peak so that it is most visible. Okay. Still kind of bugs me that I put a static sword on his back when he's supposed to have so many, but whatever. Doesn't want to rotate from me, does it? I'm thinking I'm going to have to do it from here. Well, even then it doesn't want to. You just do not want to change your rotation, do you? Oh, no, I know why. It's being stupid. Ignore me. There we go. Yeah, I did. I mean, that's kind of what I was working on. I just had to change his point of rotation so that was based on his back, so that it actually worked. But even then, I don't think it's gonna matter. You probably, even if I kept it static, I don't think you'd notice. So, but whatever. His eyes aren't actually moving that much, which will actually make one thing, I think, easier. I don't think I have one set up yet. I do not. How to add different lighting and atmosphere. That's that's very broad. Stuff like that is very situational. There's a lot of stuff in SFM that it's like general concepts or tricks on how to use the software are one thing, but when it comes down to like building an atmosphere for something, it's always dependent on what you're trying to do. Is it's like the time of day, how many people are in the shot, what angle the camera is looking at. It all changes stuff. When it comes to like mist, volumetric works for mist. The problem is volumetrics also causes issues for some stuff. So I've been trying to use it when it comes to like, if you're talking like mist isn't fog. Fog is almost better done with particles. Yeah, it's because if you have a very bright particle, say, like behind volumetric lights, it's going to have to go through the volumetric lights, which could change it and make it so that you really can't do anything about it. Particles, at least, aren't a thing taking up a volume of space. They're thin, and so you can usually get cheated a little bit more. Volumetric lights also can cause problems with particle or any type of model that has an alpha layer, so like a partial invisibility, or like a see-through texture. It can actually make it so that it becomes invisible, like it just goes so you can't even see it through the volumetric light. There's been some issues like that. Stop staring at me. There's a couple different reasons why volumetric lights aren't that great, but so I've stopped using them as a general way to light things, and I've been trying to use them more in just specific parts and utilizing other methods to get the same result. The effect when she goes outside is a lot of that in the background is particles. There is some volumetrics, but like here, this is volumetrics because that allows me to do the shading, whatever. But out here, a lot of what you see is, or like in the distance, how these models back here are fogged is the map actually has a fog controller, and so that's just an actual like 3D rock that I put back there with the fog controller balancing with the color of the background to try to blend almost with the color and then making it a little bit darker so that it just kind of stands as a silhouette. Otherwise, the fog that's kind of coming across here, if I use volumetrics, it would be even. So these are actually very lots and lots of very thin layers of texture or particles coming through. So normally the problem with particles is that you're going to get you can kind of see a little bit, but you can see that these layers of fog coming through because it's an actual flat texture that's always aimed at the camera, so you can actually see the line of it. But if you increase the count and then increase the alpha, so you make it harder to see but you put more of them, it'll kind of balance out a little bit. That's kind of what I did here. But across the ground here, at the base of the ground, I put a lot more smaller particles that are spammed more across the distance, and when you start adding them up over distance, you'll start getting start looking more and more a little better. So I made sure that there was a low version of clouds that came, or the particles that flew through here, and then another larger one that came through. So that's the kind of what gave that effect. So. And really, when it came to building that scene, it was kind of what I'm doing right now. I just threw shit everywhere. But I was utilizing silhouettes to create the eerie feeling. Yeah, too many particles can slow things down. Pretty quickly, actually. But particles are they're not gonna slow down something as much as if you use a particle to do 3D models spamming everywhere. Yes, it'll really start to drag you down. But just don't have. I think the most you can spawn in a single particle is 5,000. Just don't make that 5 times and have it spawning them and killing and with a life of a half a second and having it spawn thousands every couple seconds. That's when it's gonna really kill you. The motion blur. What do you mean by motion blur? Because I'm not sure if you're talking about because motion blur is built in, but if you're talking about the clouds coming in, blurring, that's just natural. Oh, that's not motion blur. That's you're talking your depth of field, or your here, was she blurred out? Here, that's your depth of field. So when I did it, I just put the focus further in. So on your camera, same thing on here. Right now, he's blurred, not because of motion, but because of the field. So if we go and show our focal plane, that's this purple box thing. So right now it's showing that the focal plane is inside her head, meaning that she's in focus. But as soon as the camera starts moving, you'll see the number here is the distance. It starts increasing. You'll see the box fly away and it lands in him. Right there. So even while the camera's in motion, now he's in focus right here. So he should be more in focus in the background. So the whole point of this motion was because I was going at him, he wasn't really moving that much, so he would still be in focus for a lot of it. So yeah, to do that, it's on the camera. Is your focal distance here? And so your focal distance is going to change where that box is. If you have a problem trying to figure it out from this angle, if you back up your camera frostrum, this little purple box right here is also where it is. So if you can see where it intersects. And so your focal distance tells you where the focus points is, but the aperture tells you how much or how narrow of a focus you want it to be. So if I have a very low aperture, or in this case 0, I'm saying that I want my area of focus to be very, very broad, so everything is basically in focus. All the way back up to the buildings here. Not 100%, even at 0 here. It's still smoothing some of the edges, though I think that might just be sub-pixel jitter. Yeah, that's just sub-pixel jitter. So, yeah, okay, if you do put it at 0, it is 0. Sub-pixel jitter just cleans out some of the edges. You can see some of these are pixel by pixel, but if I turn on sub-pixel jitter, it just makes it so that it smooths the edges on the renders. But if I have my aperture, and I want to have it back to normal, if I have my aperture up like this amount, you can see that now she's in focus, but it's blurred in the background. If I put this really high, it puts such a narrow point of focus that it actually makes it difficult to find your point of focus. Normally, you want to put the focal distance just a little past your subject. and that will actually how my thing is right now. That might actually be difficult to do. I'm just going to go just a teeny bit past. Let's see if that'll work. Yeah, if you go a little bit past, it helps. I always see the focal point or focal distance as the end of your focus distance and a little bit closer. So, but then you get some like super blurred stuff. So, but that can have its uses. Normally, what it should be is that if you have a camera shot like this, where you're overlooking a lot of things, you're going to probably be sitting at. I'm actually going to grab a new camera because I think this is actually cinematic stuff to know. If you have on here, you have your lenses. So, yeah, that's actually a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. You can't see the blur unless you're in the clip editor here. So if you actually see here, even though I have the aperture up, you can't see anything. Clip editor gives you a preview of what the final will look like on render. That's why down here, like if I turn up my render setting, when I go into clip editor, you can see this number start going up because it's running through processing. It's doing it's progressive refinement. That's what this is, I guess. So if you actually if you turn that off, it'll make it so you're in the clip editor, and it doesn't do that, which is actually helpful. But in general, I always keep it on, and I keep my render settings pretty low so that I can don't have to wait forever. So no, yeah, you've actually been very helpful. Thank you. So if you're having a big shot like this, you probably don't want to be super zoomed in, because you're trying to, by zooming in, you're saying I'm focusing on something specific. If you're trying to do a broad shot to show an entire scene, these are your lenses, and they simulate the lenses of a camera. And in movies and stuff, there are general guidelines for what millimeters to work in what situations. So if you're doing a broad shot showing everything, 35 is usually about what you'd want to be doing. This is going to be the best for showing a wide everything. You have to build a much bigger scene or whatever, but if you're going to be showing a lot of things or full body shots, 35 is what feels the best in general. And so if you're going to be doing that, I'm going to increase this a bit. If you're seeing a lot of things, you're probably going to have a lower aperture because it makes more sense. So you could think of it in the sense of if you're looking at something far away, chances are everything around it's going to be in a similar focus. It's like if you held your hand, or if you compared looking at a tree and what everything else looks like around it to looking at your hand with the tree behind it, the tree is going to be more blurred. So here you want to have a little bit of blur but otherwise not too much, because otherwise you're going to get something like this. And this, while artistic, it's focusing on a specific without giving the details of everything around it. The next after wide shot is your mid shot, which is usually your 50 millimeter, and that only works if you have the camera selected. And mid shots usually for a person is around the waist level. For a pony, I usually consider it at the knee level because you don't want to cut somebody into sections. So like the knees or the stomach work better than the waist, right where the bones cut off. So for a pony, if I were to do it here, they would look like a floating swan. But if I do it right here, I'm making sure they're fully the subject, but I'm still cutting them off a little bit without making them look like they're like missing legs. So, and then for a shot like this, drop our focal distance down again, and the aperture would be higher because it would be more blurred in the background. And usually it's going to be it's not a science, it's just kind of coming down to what works. For me, this would be about what I do for a mid shot. Maybe a little lower, but something like that. And then your close shot is your 85, potentially 105. But SFM can start having issues with with textures on the eyes and stuff getting messed up if you start going too much higher than that. Like if you start getting into these kind of levels, you could start having some issues. Like you can kind of see here, the eye doing a little bit. She's not moving, which helps. But so I'm just going to do my 85, and this is going to be where you'd probably cut them off right about mid-body. So not here, but like about mid-body. So like here, and we put up the aperture a bit more, focal distance right on her face, and then this would be, actually I probably should a little bit more. This would be a good close-up. So for the camera, anything below 35 millimeter has its uses, but it can start looking fish-eyed and what I would call the Gmod look, because you're going to be getting this, and it just doesn't feel as natural to have a camera that's like that. Usually if you're trying to make something that's cinematic, you want to be up close in a lot of things. So generally, if you're showing trying to show it an entire scene, do 35. Otherwise, you're doing your 50 if you're mid and 85 for your close-ups. So, and if you want more information on that, we can get you some Flooby Newbie. Which has a whole article on the cinematography of The Incredibles, and I recommend that if you really want to learn about camera usage, color usage, this is actually a very good read because they explain a lot of what I just gave, and on how a lot of those how those shots work and everything. So so yeah, if you have a chance to, reading that will, like shots like this, you know, those really cool detailed I guess iconic shots that just kind of pass on by. And these are actually, I mean, these are talking the far shots. These are what you would be like your 35. But even on here, like this is actually properly utilizing like a smaller camera angle, like something like, or even maybe even less than that. It's just based on situation. But this also shows, because I've had some people that have, like, when you go to do a shot, you know, there's always that the utilizing of the rule of thirds, which state keeping your horizon on either the bottom third line or the top third line, and your subject along the left third or the right third. So in this case, like this would be considered to be correct placement of the rule of thirds, or this would be so that it helps balance out the shots. But even in here, those rules are so much of guidelines. You can do some really, really good iconic shots by having things centered too. So, or having them way off to the side, or normally it's supposed to be that you're on the 1/3 looking into the larger third quadrant. But like I utilized in this one, she's technically looking off the camera, but that's fine. It's break the rules. They're there to help you along, but they're not there to tie you down. So, or whatever. Those rules came about because people found what worked best, and that was from experimenting. So it doesn't mean that you can't go about something your own way. Oh yeah, there is a rule of thirds overlay. I have it on my DeviantArt. I think it's on there. It's, to me, the rule of thirds overlay is useful, but it's like again, what that's trying to say is that you have to have everything along. It's like by putting it up, you're saying you need it to be exactly on a 1/3 or on those lines. You don't. it's like if you're a little bit off that line, it's not a big deal. The main thing it's saying is don't always put your subject in the middle, and don't always put them way off to the side. Middle ground. That's really all it's saying. Don't put your horizon here or your horizon here, because the only reason I say don't put a horizon here is that it doesn't. Putting a shot like this gives a feeling of expanse and openness, while getting a shot like this focuses more on the ground and feels more constrained. So it just kind of depends on what you want for a feeling or the emotion. But if you're doing it here, you really are telling the person that I don't know what you're supposed to feel. So, but that's just my thing. But again, for like the in terms of breaking the rules, like I have this shot, which starts out like where I'm below the third line, subject coming from the middle. Doesn't matter, I don't care. Works, it still works. But I will try to do it when I can. And I do it innately. So here I wanted this guy to be the focus, but this is kind of the building creating that third. She's more towards the center, but the camera works towards the third. But even here, working on the third line. This one he works towards the third, and this is another one that's weird because he's walking out of the shot. But again, whatever works. This is an anime intro. It's hard to say what actually is a science on that stuff. Rotated cameras are fun to utilize, but they can be also a little dangerous. And actually I found I've had it before where I needed like when you're zooming in on somebody and you're turning the camera to create that feeling of crazy. Like I did it for actually no, it wouldn't be in here. This might be loud right off the bat. There we go. I got it in time. Like when she talks about the button thing. This part, to actually get that to look right, because I felt like it wasn't. I'm just gonna keep doing it. Can I use arrows? No. It was the camera alone wasn't enough. So I actually had it so it was turning, and then I locked her to the camera and then turned her with the camera even more, so that the background actually appeared to turn more than she was. So that's why you can kind of see that it's actually like here with that line. You can see that that's going past it. So rotating is a fun thing, but that gets complicated. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you guys ever have questions for stuff like this, feel free to ask. That's the point of the stream. So, and I don't know everything, and again, all the stuff that I'm telling you is guidelines for stuff. There is no science to it. It doesn't, like the rule of thirds. It's more of, if you can, great, but there's times where the best shot you can make for it is gonna be to break that rule completely. So I hate that it's called the rule of thirds, because it does imply that it is something that must be followed, but hell no. So that's why I kind of regret making the overlay for it. The only overlay I've really used before is if you're trying to make I used it a bit for remembrance, and that is it's probably gonna crash. This one comes in handy because it actually has rule of thirds built in, which is what this is. But it's for Um, Tying in, it's easier for determining the middle of your shot. A lot of those lines are useful. This also helps build 3 dimensions, but really I haven't found much use in it. But it's for determining where the edges of your shots are. So, but using this, I built. I don't know. I think he might have had that. I can't remember for sure, but I used that to determine the bars to put for what I needed for the video. We're gonna mute that. So so you can add a little bar black. Actually, that kind of looks cooler. It just adds an immediate cinema effect to everything. I love that. Let's see how that works. Let's just put it all the way through and see how that works. Yeah, that's still had tacos there. But it's just like anything that you do with black bars just feels more cinematic. But it doesn't work for an anime intro. What happened to your face? Oh, I had your new light thing. It's like he's a ghost. Yeah, it works for some shots, but like that one, it kind of actually ruined it a bit. But everything just looks more cinematic with black bars. I don't know why. Yeah, it's kind of quoting Pirates of the Caribbean, but I do agree that all the rules are more like guidelines. Like even for like the camera, uh, like the 85 whatever 85 50 35, those are guidelines. But in general, if you were to create a shot based on using those guidelines, they are going to immediately look good. But I think it's going to look good not because that's what we naturally would adhere to. I don't know if that's the right word. It's like the black bars. If you have the black bars in there, we are so innately built to that. The fact that if it's a thin video like that, it just feels like a movie because that's what we're used to from movies, but television gives the full screen. So I think that I want to play around with using black bars more because it's like a cheap way, a very, very cheap and cheating way to give something a cinematic feel. But also I feel like it's more enjoyable to build a focus wide than it is tall. You aren't really taking things away, you're narrowing the focus of what people look at. Though I have to remember, like Remembrance, I made the mistake if I rendered it with the black bars and I forgot that I wasn't going to do that. It actually was supposed to be rendered without them and put out in post because it created problems. So I wouldn't actually recommend the overlay, using the overlay in here for render. I want to get his highlight figured out. You know, I played Guild Wars 2 for his face. I played Guild Wars 2. I pre-ordered it. I actually played for the first 2 months. And I enjoyed the crap out of that game. I stopped playing because the game started getting the normal MMO treatment where when a game first starts, everything is new, wonderful, and anything you get for equipment is great. But later in the game, people start developing the meta, and it starts doing oh, you have that, that's crap, don't use that. And it's like, screw you, I use what I want. It's so where people start mathing things out to optimize things by 1 or 2%. And that and I what was it, the ice, I can't remember the ice place, but there was a dragon boss there that I was amongst one of the first groups to kill it, and you would be spending an hour to kill this thing, and you would do it for you would do it like 4 or 5 people, something that was built for many, many more. And after fighting multiple times and failing, finally succeeding in that, a sense of accomplishment. And then you go back like 3 weeks later, and there's like 50 people sitting there that just drop it in no timer at all, or they got a troll guy that goes and sits on top of it and breaks it completely, and it just kind of ruined it. I don't know. I just, after that crap, I just quit. But I did play for a while. I was a what was it? I was the furry, the big wolf, like the big like wolfy guys. I don't remember what their names were. I was him as a gladiator. That's what I played from the beginning. But yeah, I did love that game. That game was so fun. Until they broke jumping. Freaking stupid. The game was really fun when you could jump however you wanted. But man, people jump too much. Yeah, Char, that was it. I really liked the Char class. I really did enjoy. I probably should actually make that. I really did enjoy that game. I've thought about going back to play it, but then I know that it'd be a lot of time spent to then get involved with the meta. Any MMO eventually gets to a point where they try to push you through as fast as possible through all these glorious and beautiful areas. Ion had this problem, where they build all these areas that work well for when you start, the game starts, but then they start getting to the point where they gotta get more and more and more and more content. So they throw you through these areas so that you can get to max level as soon as possible, and then you zoom through everything to hit a stop, and it just, yeah. Yes, my persona is a dolphin. That doesn't really make sense because dolphins don't have fur. But no, I've thought about like trying out Final Fantasy 14, but I want to wait until after BronyCon before potentially doing something like that. What the? Where's your eye light go away? Oh, his eye goes up. So I have it work for here, but it doesn't work for this. So after it pops up here, I have to move the light to here. Okay, yeah, scaling down work. That always bothered me with games. It's like you start out in this area, you fight these big mobs, and then you get stronger by just killing more of them, to the point where you go to another area and you kill basically the same thing, but now you can go dominate these other ones, and it didn't make much sense. Or like in the games where they just reskin the thing, but suddenly this one's way more powerful. Yeah, that kind of bugged me. But so if they do scale downs, it works well. But still. Yeah, I am a fan of MMOs. I just never could. It's hard for me to stay interested in them. But that's also when I got Guild Wars 2. The whole purpose of jumping on it was because it was a new MMO, meaning that they hadn't broke it yet. So I'm like, I'll play it for about the first month and then I'll quit. Oh, this it's not even working yet. There we go. Oh, this isn't gonna work. I think this needs to be more yellow. I thought I copied the color to it. Oh well, I'll just do it myself. Snuggles Deathbringer, nice. I have an upteen number of stories from MMOs like that. I have like we used to an Ion because we would just go back to it every like 6 months. We had things that nobody else had that were the people that normal in the normal areas. So like we had penguin outfits that they were like from a year ago, and so we would use these outfits. They were limited time. We would just spam them for a year later for some reason, and we would go into newbie areas and punch everything to death because we were super overpowered. So and so we'd go up to newbies at these giant pack of penguins and just punch things to death like bosses. Or some people were RPing in the one residential area. They were like all dressed in suits talking about having tea and crumpets or whatever. And so we ran in there, and I'm walking around the city just exploring, and I see it, and I'm sitting in a bush. And I'm like, dude, guys, we have to do something. So I call in like 4 other guys, and we all as penguins jump into this RPing group, and just start dancing and so they're trying to ignore us, but it's really, really hard when you're grinding on some guy in a suit. And eventually you could tell that they were getting agitated, and they start trying to push us away. Now, they wouldn't talk to us directly. They were still involved in their little thing. And eventually they just started saying, maybe we should go back to our houses for the rest of the day. Or they're like, oh, quiet. And so they left us alone. We tried following to their houses, but they can lock you out. Sadly. Or I had a buddy that went to the newbie area and was utilizing heal aggro to aggro every single mob in the entire goddamn starter map. And I'm not saying most or some, I'm saying literally every single one, so that people were complaining in chat because nothing was spawning in the entire map. It had it to where if you were standing by him, your frame rate was at like 2 to 3. The sound of the mobs hitting him would just make this miasma of whoa, 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 whoa. He was taking 1 damage every 10 hits, and he was having to constantly heal to keep himself alive. He was going down hundreds of health a second. It was sad but hilarious, and he couldn't move much more than a couple feet, or the engine took so long to move everything that he would start losing aggro. I have a picture of it somewhere. I can maybe try to find. It's good old times. If I can remember my password for Photo Bucket. See if I can remember it. It's taking a while. I got it right. Ha! I'm good. Oh no. Let's see here. I have a lot of pictures from Ion on here. No, it was before that. I have other pictures on here that are weird, so I'm keeping it over here. I swear it's on my photo bucket. I'm not seeing it though. It'd be sad if I don't have those anymore. Aw, I don't think I have them anymore. That's sad days. I don't know why they wouldn't be on here anymore, though. Oh well. But yeah, it was a little guy, a short man in a blue suit and top hat. Yeah, that definitely does help that eye. It does help the eye, but I'm thinking that it might be difficult to utilize correctly because I can see it. Well, you know what? I wonder if I increase its radius a bit, if that'll help smooth out the edges. Oh yeah, almost too much already. Because my main concern is having it. Ooh, that actually might be perfect. Having it be a sharp line on the eyes. That might actually work really well like that. Yes, Photo Bucket was a long time ago. The last thing I uploaded in there, I have a lot of Gmod stuff. My old Gmod days, so like, this was a banner for a website I was working on that was made in Gmod. God, I don't know what's on here. We made some really fucked up pictures. Oh, there was me experimenting with putting not that one. Weird pictures. I took SFM, or not SFM, Gmod in position to model and tried to actually merge him into an actual picture, and with the lighting and everything. It turned out actually pretty good. So yeah, I know it is, but I don't want to come at this. Actually, anyways, that was a picture because they were playing League of Legends, and he said that freaking squirrel kept blasting him, blowing him away, and I made that picture in like freaking 2 minutes. And it was, so, yeah, whatever. Well, my Photo Bucket is a wondrous thing to go through every now and then because everything has a story. And it's so old. Oh my god. Okay. Whatever. So yeah, I want to try to copy this. It really bugs me though that I can't find that picture. Because I know I've seen it on my Photo Bucket like so many times before. Unless that was on our early days, then I would have to go. No, that was not around that time. That was the other MMO days. Oh, you want to see my old car? Give me my car. My old Tibby. Had that. Oh wow, over 10 years ago. That was the car, the picture I took when I sold it. Sold it for college. Oh, whoa. The helmet, I think, still has a green aspect to it. Yeah, I might have to look into that. Something with that is still green. I don't even know. I don't know why I didn't notice that till now. Oh! Bet you I know what it is. Yep. Whoa. No, don't want that. Do not want. That will work. So I forgot that the environment tint on these had color value. But the environment map doesn't really show up that well here, so that's why I missed it. This is going to be his armor. And this is going to be... I only have to worry about his body. Blue body. And if anything... the other part too, I might add it to that as well, because otherwise, it will give it a golden hue on part, but not the rest. My mouse. Okay, I'm gonna move a little bit of the gold, focus on gold. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this back in it, and just a little bit more of this. Okay, good. So now that looks a lot better. Okay, so we're gonna do that for the helmet too. I'm not even really worried about helmet 2. It's only at this angle that it really is noticeable. Ooh. That did not do what I wanted to do. Looks almost bluish from here. Oh, 0.2. Yeah, I didn't want 0.2. I wanted 0.1. There we go. Okay. I'll actually do this quick. I'll just do a quick attachment for this eye, and that'll be done here. Not worried about setting this up. Yeah, it is glass armor. All the other ones that I tried utilizing didn't work. Like, well, for one, this is the only one that's helmet actually fit on a pony. And even then, it doesn't really fit. It's kind of fits. But it was the only one that kept the nose open. A lot of the other ones closed the face, and that didn't really work very well. And this one also was shiny, and I like shiny. And I'm trying to think what else with that. In terms of the body area parts, I think it worked best too. I could potentially play with it later to see if I could do something better, but I don't think so. I think this will save all the animation. So as long as this is... yeah, this actually could work just as it is. Okay, but this eye is not going to be as bright. The main one I want to have as bright is this one. I could probably put it up just a little bit more. This is the very last shot. That looks good. I actually had originally planned a video with Tyrek way back, but because of the model at the time never got finished, I put that way to the side. It was really going to be an anthology short, I think, but all I remember of it is that it was a video with Tyrek. I can't remember what the video was anymore. I have to write things down more often, so it kind of, honestly, it does kind of have a Time Lordish feel. Time Lord with a sword. That sword is literally glowing. Something is not right. Something's not right, but I'm guessing it's just going to be a reset the software and it'll fix itself. So, what was accomplished today? I made this shot look way more badass. No complaints on my part. Though I'm gonna, now that I have more details on the ground, I feel like I can utilize stronger lights in certain areas. Because before I didn't want to use them because it just felt like splotches, but now I can actually put lights on strong surfaces nice and strong. Kind of like this one has it, but now on more rocks. So, but this was right here was the main one I wanted to have a lot of detail for, this shot right here, and I feel like it's getting there. Yeah. I've said before that it's ideas are easy, the time and ability to do it are what are actually the hardest part. So when people like say, I have this idea, it's like, no, I got plenty. It's just, it takes forever to do them. So that's why I don't do them. So I have a dozen video ideas in my head, but I'm never going to be able to do them all. So normally when I have the time to actually work on one, I have to like pick and choose the one that not only sounds like fun now, but I can assume is going to also be fun in the future. That's the hard part. It's like 2 weeks from now when I'm still working on it, is it still going to be something I want to do? So actually I want to see some with this one. I'm going to pump this up to 128. God, the render time. Because there's like some speckles here. I want to see how those render out. Yeah, it definitely needs some extra bright spots around here. But it is getting there. Progress. Why is the light inside his mouth? Oh, it's probably non-shadowed light. I might darken the texture. No, I can't darken the inside of his mouth. I can only do his tongue. Because it just seems weird having it pink. I don't know. Oh, I should probably rename these two. I have 2 ponies. I only don't put a name if it's guaranteed to have no other, or a single pony. Or I'll just put actor. In the strip city block, this is in the close group. Okay. There we go. All right. It is 9, so I'm done. Too much crap open. Do I want to save that? Nope, don't care. Do I want to save that? No. Okay. I guess that will be it. I will be back streaming on Friday, and as far as I can tell, we'll also be streaming on next week. I kind of already put the schedule up on what do you call it, on Steam. And actually, as a reminder, if anybody didn't know, we have a Steam group for if you wanted an announcement that there's a stream going on, it will post a little short thing for you. It might be like the event might not be posted until 5 seconds before the stream starts, but still, at least if you're not watching DeviantArt or Twitter, or you don't want to wait for the Twitch email, this one's an instant one as well. So, yeah. Anyways, so yep. It's Tuesday. I only go 3 hours on Tuesday. Jeez, Warhorse. If there's a problem with the particle editor, that's just too broad. But you'll have to ask it next time because I need to go do stuff. So, oh yeah, and that group's public. Anybody can join. So, anyways, I'm gonna go. So I'll have fun, everybody. And I have too many. I have to wait till there's crap open. All right, kitty button. I actually called it kitty button on my sources on here too. So I will see you guys later. Meow meow. How do I squeeze it up? Oh, it does that. Okay. Alright, bye bye. Bye bye.